and welcome to this week's edition of the Collection Comic of the Week. And keeping with this month's theme of introductions to characters to introduce this new series, I have picked out from my comic collection Plastic Man, Volume 2, Number 17. This book was my first exposure to Plastic Man, and the one thing, and I'll point this out, I could not find in rereading it the artist and the writer. I like to mention the artist and the writer when I do this, so I had to go online to research it. It was apparently written by someone named John Albano. I don't know if he's got any relation to Captain Lou, and Ramona Fradon did the cover art and the interior art. But yeah, this was my first exposure to the character of Plastic Man. I got this book way back before I was even born. There was a big comic book printing plant in my area, and quite a few people, it provided jobs to quite a few people in this area during that time, and my grandpa worked there. And every once in a while they'd have extra books or just whatever, and he would bring it home to my mother and my aunt, and, you know, they weren't really super duper interested in comic books, but you know, they would read some of them. And I remember my mom actually saying she did read the Plastic Man books, but as you can tell, my mom was not really interested in keeping things. My mom or my aunt, either one of them, were interested in keeping things nice. There's paint and there's writing all over this, so this book has nothing more than sentimental value to it. But the sentimental value is, one, when I started getting into collecting comic books back at and just reading them at a young age, my grandpa found a bunch of these old ones, and this was one of them. And, you know, much like back in the day, it had a conclusion, and it was the introduction to a character. It was a funny character, but, you know, kind of had some, I don't want to say it was super duper serious, but it had, like, more serious moments in it to where you could be intrigued by, you know, there's some action sequences to where you'd be like, you know, oh, okay, this isn't just a completely 100% humor book. I can kind of, you know, I compare it to certain, you know, cartoons. Like one thing I kind of compared it to and rereading it made me think of was the Mask cartoon I used to watch as a child, because it was overall a humorous show, like most of it. There were a few times where like the action got big and like we had to be continued episodes where the Mask was in peril, and I'm like, holy cow. And that's kind of the vibe that I got from reading this book. But enough of me rambling and making a bunch of comparisons. Let's check it out. Yeah, like I said, there's a better look at all the pencil markings that my mom and or aunt put on this book. Definitely no resale value whatsoever with this, and whatever the heck that is. I'm hoping that's paint. It looks like paint. Either way, I'm not sure. But I really do enjoy the cover. You really do kind of get like a sense of just like the character a little bit. You got, you know, a little bit of funny. You got the funny stuff down here, and you got somewhat of a serious situation going on. So thought that was cool, and open it up. One of the things I do miss from comic books is just the Hostess ads, where it's like a little story related around Hostess pies. I remember them talking about this on an episode of Comic Book Man. I'm like, you know, heck yeah, we do need the Hostess pie ads back. So Marvel, DC, and Hostess, if you're listening, start buying more ad space in comic books again. We got a little introduction here with the story, you know, and then we have essentially the origin, you know, going back to the this was before Jeff Loeb, but the Jeff Loeb philosophy of this is always someone's first comic book, so you might always have to give a brief introduction. And it's a good thing they did, because this explained who he is and where he comes from. And, you know, he finds his friend Woody, who is also a former criminal. Plastic Man's a former criminal there. And, you know, that's kind of becomes his sidekick, who's still not completely reformed like Plastic Man is. Love these old powerful muscles fast, you know. Now that we can continue not having this in new comic books, that's for sure. But you know, the art is kind of very of the time, but I do really like it, and it is some really nice art. And I'd never heard of the artist who did it, but you know, I didn't think they did a completely terrible job. You know, always just, he's essentially Stretch Armstrong. And the other thing that I always thought was interesting is, I don't even know if it was fully answered, but I always wonder if Plastic Man was barefoot. That's something I always just kind of wonders. Like, so is Plastic Man barefoot? Is he wearing tights or a boot or anything? But, you know, I don't know. So there's all this, more action, more action. You know, got an old lady there with a telescope helping out Woody, and make extra cash. No real selling, just show the sample we give you. There's a scheme for a Ponzi scheme for children. You know, the Hungry Plant, essentially a Venus flytrap, so you can buy a Venus flytrap apparently, and that's some. The next $2 comics. You know, I wish comics were $1 today. This was like saying this was $1 because it was going to be bigger. Now a bigger issue is going to run you about $10 nowadays. Yeah. Got some more advertisements from DC there. More muscle advertisements too, but this is really, really cool where Plastic Man essentially makes himself a tire to follow the bad guys. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, here we have for $4.98 you can buy resistance bands, and you're gonna look like him. Yeah, okay, sure, pal, whatever you say. Gotta give a shout out to Scooby, who uses resistant bands but puts this kind of false advertisement to shame with his videos. Shout out to Scooby1961 on YouTube. Got a letter from the editor, and then they stop the bad guy, and they look like they got the cops stop the bad guy, rather. Got some more stretchy coolness from Plastic Man right there. And you can buy life-size stand-ups of Superman and Batman. So, yeah. Actually, if I could find one of those and hang it up here at Athletic Geek HQ, I would definitely be doing that. And, and this was the one part is, Plastic Man does get the kiss from, from the girl at the end, but at the very end, as you can see, he does get rejected for a date and relationship, so womp womp for old Plastic Man. And that's pretty well, the money was gotten by the old lady, and we have a PSA about not being a vandal with Superman there at the end, so, and letters to the editor, gotta love that. And, nothing really. Oh, also buy 100 toy soldiers for $1.50. $1.50? What? But yeah, again, just a fun book. Nothing really life-changing, but it did introduce me to Plastic Man, and I did enjoy other subsequent Plastic Man books. I liked Plastic Man's role in the Justice League of America with Grant Morrison's run, and I wouldn't have known about him being a character at all in that run if it wasn't for my first exposure. Thanks, Grandpa, for bringing this home, and thanks to my mom and aunt for not completely destroying this comic book. Do you also own this issue of Plastic Man? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of comic books, but from the world of pro wrestling, gaming, anime, and all things geek culture. Follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeek89, Twitter @athletic_geek89, and Instagram @athleticgeek89. Thank you for watching. Later.